Welcome to the American AVK Series 816 Butterfly Valve Overview Module. In this module, you'll learn all about the AVK Series 816 Butterfly Valve, including history, function, standards compliance and testing, butterfly valve construction features, product range, and technical information. The Series 816 Butterfly Valve was developed specifically for the North American market. These are butterfly valves that range from 3-inch through 24-inch, with flanged, MJ, MJ biflange, and wafer end connections. The main function of a butterfly valve is to regulate water flow by turning it on or off. It can also be used as a regulating valve, but using this butterfly valve as a regulating valve may create cavitation due to the difference in upstream and downstream pressures, and that can cause damage to the valve, so this should be discussed with AVK before use. The AVK Series 816 meets or exceeds the requirements of AWWA C504, which is the AWWA standard for butterfly valves. The coatings meet or exceed AWWA C550, but keep in mind that the exterior of the above-ground valves can be coated with standard paints. These butterfly valves are certified to NSF 61 for the health effects of drinking water and NSF 372 for lead. And, as with all AVK products, they are manufactured in an ISO 9001, ISO 14001 certified facility. The AWWA proof testing has been completed as required by C504. A 12-inch valve was cycled for 10,000 cycles, and a 24-inch valve was cycled for 5,000 cycles, all at 250 psi unbalanced pressure. The nickel-copper welded seat was cycled 100,000 times on a 4-inch valve, and then cycled for an additional 100,000 cycles on a 12-inch valve. Now let's discuss the design and construction of the AVK Series 816 butterfly valve. The Series 816 butterfly valve is a concentric design, which means the stem goes through the center of the disc as opposed to an eccentric design where the valve disc would be to one side of the stem. The advantages to the concentric design are that it is a low head loss design and the valve is bidirectional, which means it seals equally in both directions. The valve liner is EPDM synthetic rubber. The EPDM is a proprietary formulation by AVK Gummy. It's called EDJ70. This formulation is required for Series 816 due to its low swelling and compression set properties. The valve seat does not require seat adjustment. The rubber seat also forms a flange gasket on the flange and wafer butterfly valves. With this design, contractors save on gasket expense. Wouter Witzel, an AVK sister company and butterfly valve manufacturer, has used this design for many years and has not experienced any problems. A big advantage of the Series 816 butterfly valve comes when it's used with the HDPE pipe on MJ valves. The MJ and MJ flange versions have been designed to accommodate PE pipe without requiring beveling the pipe for disc clearance. This is up to and including DR9 pipe. No other manufacturer that we know of can do this. AVK will also be able to supply buried valves with an anode lug. As you can see, this valve has feet. The feet on the valve body can be drilled and tapped for anode lugs. The AVK Series 65 has T-bolt saddles to stop the T-bolts from rotating out when the valves are installed. Since this valve is so long to accommodate the HDPE pipe, all of the holes of the MJ bolts are circular, so you don't need the T-bolt saddles and the T-bolts will not rotate out of the U-slots. At the center of the butterfly disc is the hub. The hub and the rubber that it seats against are both flat. This spreads out the load and prevents compression set. The low compression set rubber, EDJ70, prevents leakage that might be caused by compression set. The AVK Series 816 has a full product range up through 24 inches. Flange valves are 3 through 24 inch, MJ are 4 through 24 inch, wafer valves are 3 through 20 inch, and the MJ flange valves are from 6 to 24 inches. AWWA C504 has pressure classes 150B and 250B. AVK supplies them both. The B stands for the flow velocity and means that these valves are rated for up to 16 feet per second. If they were 150A or 250A, it would mean that the valves were only rated for 8 feet per second. Now let's review the technical information of the Series 816 butterfly valve. First, the materials. The body and the disc are both ductile iron, and the disc edge is a welded nickel-copper alloy. The liner is currently EPDM, but NBR will eventually be an option. The stems for both the Class 150 and Class 250 are 17.4 pH stainless steel. All of the seals and O-rings are NBR, and all of the hardware to bolt it together is 304 stainless steel. The stem bearings are PTFE coated steel with copper tin plating for corrosion protection. One of the key features are the stem seals. AVK stems are triple sealed. The first seal is the flat area where the disc intersects the liner. That flat area prevents water from getting into the stem. The second is where the stem goes through the liner. The liner is a slightly smaller diameter than the stem, so it acts like an O-ring, which also prevents leakage. And finally, there's an O-ring between the two Delrin rings at the top of the hub of the valve. Note that some designs using different types of O-ring cartridges require more O-rings and increase the number of possible leakage paths. AVK elected to use one O-ring held between two Delrin bushings. The two Delrin bushings act as an O-ring cartridge to keep the O-ring in place. The AVK design is simpler, better, and exceeds the requirements for AWWA C504. The AVK O-ring is replaceable without removing the stem, as required by AWWA. Our stems connect to our discs with a hexagonal stem drive system. The driving stem is shaped as a hexagon, which then transmits the torque loads to open and close the butterfly valve to the disc. AVK is the only company that we know of that does this. All of our stems are high-strength 17.4 pH stainless steel. The AWWA standard for butterfly valves requires that the stem be attached to the disc with pins or bolts or some other mechanical method. We don't need that because we have the hexagon drive, and we have a blowout preventer which holds the stem in place. AVK has added a set screw to mechanically attach the stem to the disc. The Series 816 butterfly valve is modeled on the AVK Series 75 butterfly valve, which was developed by Wouter-Witzel. AVK and Wouter-Witzel have a large amount of experience with the Series 75, and the head loss of the Series 75 and the Series 816 will be close to identical. The Series 75 and Series 816 head loss data is shown here. Congratulations! You've completed the American AVK Series 816 butterfly valve overview module. Now that you've completed this training, let's review the highlights of the module. In this module, you learned that the main function of a butterfly valve is to regulate the flow of water by turning it on or off. The Series 816 butterfly valve is a concentric design valve and ranges from 3 to 24 inches. It's available with flanged, MJ, MJ biflange, and wafer end connections. The advantages of the concentric design are that it is a low head loss design and the valve is bidirectional. The valve liner is a special formulation of EPDM rubber called EDJ70. EDJ70 is used due to its low swelling and compression set properties. The Series 816 butterfly valve can be used with HDPE pipe on MJ valves without beveling the pipe for disc clearance. The feet on the valve body can be drilled and tapped for anode lugs. Because all of the holes of the MJ bolts are circular, you don't need to use T-bolt saddles to keep the T-bolts from rotating out. The hexagonal stem drive system transmits the torque loads to open and close the butterfly valve to the disc. AVK supplies pressure classes 150B and 250B. One of the key features are the stem seals. AVK stems are triple sealed. AVK elected to use one O-ring held between two Delrin bushings. The two Delrin bushings act as an O-ring cartridge to keep the O-ring in place. The AVK design is simpler, better, and exceeds the requirements for AWWA C504. Congratulations! You've completed this module.